Hi folks, I'm Nate with Two Guys in a Ride, and today I'm in the all-new redesigned 2025 Toyota 4Runner. And this is your ultimate guide to learning your car's tech in minutes, not months. Today, I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started. Today, we're working with our friends at Lead Card Toyota Mankato in beautiful Mankato, Minnesota. Okay, so we're going to start with this 12.3-inch all-digital driver screen here, and it's beautiful, and it's Toyota's latest system, and we see it in a number of cars. The steering wheel controls are laid out differently, but in the 4Runner, but they're really nice. But the screen is essentially the same. Basically, you have got three different views that you can quickly switch to. So you just use these arrows, and if I just press here, I'm on view. This is view number 2. Okay, and in a little bit, that settings icon will go away. Then I press it again. We go to view 1. And this is where you're going to get your adaptive cruise, your lane keeping assist, all the safety systems kind of in the middle. If I press it one more time, then you get sort of this off-road view. So those are the three screens that you can flip to quickly. As far as the screen itself, up on the top, you've got the outdoor ambient temperature. You've got a clock on the right. You've got a digital speedometer, of course, and then your gear selector. You've got your cruise control indicator, whether it's on or off. And then you have got lane keeping assist above that, and also your adaptive cruise gap indicator. All right, down below you've got engine temp, and then you have got your fuel, including how many miles you have left to empty it. Now I do like it. You see there's 2 red lights. That's because I'm stepping on the brake. Okay, those appear. It also tells you if people are buckled or not. All right, so to change and configure things in the driver's screen, you're going to use the controls on the left side of the steering wheel. Specifically, you're going to use the OK button, which you can push up or down to scroll through things in a list. You can use the left and right arrows and the back button. Now, the other 3 buttons are your volume control for your media, voice command, and then, of course, your telephone. All right. I showed you the 3 views using these buttons here. So what I'm going to do is show you how to change things. So I'm going to press and hold the OK button, and then I get this showing up in the middle of the screen. Now, if I toggle through them, okay, I get different menus. If I leave it on blank, it's going to be exactly that. It's going to take away anything in the middle except for your speed and gear selector. All right, I'm going to press and hold again. Go down to the next one. This is driving support. Okay, so I've got adaptive cruise mode right here, and you can see the lane keeping assist, you can see the gap setting, and then if I press and hold again, and I go down, this is settings, and if I press OK here, then I'm going to get all the safety systems that I can control from the driver screen. So you have all these, you just toggle up and down here to go through them. There's a little bit more above here. These ones are simple on and off. So if I just click the OK button, it turns it off. Right? I'll wait for a second, or I can hit the back button. I'm going to go back here, click it again, I turn it on. Okay, so those are those 3. And then there are some more down here, like here. I can just turn that on, or hit the back button a minute, turn it back on again. Okay, so all of these are a simple click on or click off. The ones that don't have a on-off button, you still just click on them. You just click and hold, and then you can change the warning timing just by clicking the OK button, and you can then turn it off if you don't want. Of course, I don't want to leave that, so off, so I'm going to just go there. I hit the back button. So all the ones that don't have on-off sliding are going to work the same way. You're going to click and hold, okay, and then you're going to get some options. Okay, like for your alerts, do you want a shaking steering wheel? Do you want a tone? And you just decide there. And then alert timing, you go down there and press OK to change it. Right, I'm going to hit the back button. So that's how you're going to change your safety systems. Okay, now you've got a few more things down here. Vehicle settings, we'll get back to that, but meter settings. So this here, if I click and hold, you can change language, you can change units just by clicking on it, but I'm going to go down to meter type. And now I've got this view. And if I go up and press the OK button, I get this view. And if I go up again and click this button, I get this view. So you can manipulate all of that meter, all those meters. Okay, I'm gonna hit the back button. I'm gonna go down to meter style for a minute. I'm gonna hit that. I can have tough, which is what we're on. I can go down to sporty. I can go up to smart. I can go up to casual. Okay, I'm gonna go back to where we were, hit the back button. Now I'm gonna go down. Okay, I can look at fuel economy, and I can change how I see fuel economy. I can see total average or just a trip average. And you just click the OK button there again. I'm gonna hit the back button here. Drive info items. I click here. Do I want distance or total time to show up? I'm gonna hit the back button. Trip A items. Distance or total time. You choose. Okay. Trip B, same thing. And we'll just click on this for a minute. Now, for distance, do I want average speed? And then I would just click OK. Actual distance, or if I click average speed, then for total time, do I want distance or total time? So there's a lot of ways to configure those trips. Pop-up display. Okay, what do I want popping up on my driver's screen while I'm driving? Do I want turn-by-turn navigation? I would think so, but if you didn't, you could just click here and turn it off. And the rest work the same way. Do I want my telephone to show up here when it rings, or incoming text message, or whatever? Audio operation, volume operation, and then, of course, brightness. And you do have a physical button where you, on the left side of the steering wheel, where if you press that, you can actually change the brightness and the dimness of the screen. You just got to continually press it. And it goes all the way to dim, and then it goes back to full bright. Okay. And so if I take that off, and I hit that same button, you're going to see the screen changing, but you're not going to see the pop-up show up. That's the difference. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just turn that back on because I kind of like seeing that. And I'm going to hit the back button. You can, of course, go back to default settings if you want. If you press OK here, are you sure you want to restore to factory settings? And you only want to use that if something's really gone haywire. It erases all of your previous settings. But I'm gonna hit no. Okay, so let's just press the back button here, and I'm gonna go up to vehicle settings and click and hold. Okay, so the vehicle will suggest you take a break if it senses you're weaving or your hands are off the wheel a lot. You can turn that off right here just by clicking. Okay, dynamic radar cruise control. If I click on that, I can say, how fast do I want my vehicle to accelerate, when it has slowed down? You kind of you just push the OK button. Do I want it to mildly accelerate? Kind of, like, okay, I want it to go, like, really get up to speed quickly, or just kind of normal. Do I want a guide message or not? And then on curve speed reduction, okay, if you're running, I believe this is only, though, if you're running navigation. You can have it reduce speed on a curve. Okay, so, and then again, that sense, that turns it off completely, and this really reduces speed. This is kind of normal, and this is minimal. I'm gonna hit the back button here. Do you have trailer settings? Click on that. You'd have to, of course, add a trailer, but then you can, if you have 2 or 3 trailers, you can make a profile for each one, which is really nice. Then you can, of course, edit a trailer, and you can delete a trailer. You go back. You have a trailer light check here, which I'll just click on, but you're gonna go out and watch the lamps, and it's gonna, go through the lights there. All right, tire pressure setting. Okay, tire set switching, tire rotation, tire pressure setting, pressure unit setting. So a lot of things you can actually get to and change on this. So if you ever rotate tires or change tires, that's where you're going to want to come. All right, you can look at scheduled maintenance. Okay, of course, I'm not going to reset the data there. There is none coming up. I have a separate one for oil maintenance. Okay, that's not for another close to 10,000 miles. I'm not going to, of course, reset that. When you shut the car off, do you want it to flash up on your driver's screen to check the rear seat? If you don't, you can just click OK and take that off. All right, so we're going to go down again. Stop lights display. Now remember, when I push the brakes, I get those red lights. If I click this, they go away. So if you don't like that, you can turn that off. Okay, I'm going to hit the back button here. All right, and that is that particular setting. So I'm going to go back. Okay, that was under settings. I'm going to go down one. If there's any messages from the vehicle, for instance, you know, time to change oil, windshield wiper fluid low, that's going to show up in there. All right, I'm going to just press and hold again. And then we're back to blank. Okay, so to manipulate the information inside of the gauges, what you're going to do is you're going to press and hold the OK button. And then you're going to go to the right or left, but we'll start with the right. And then you get all these gauges you can change. So right now we're on tire pressure. If I go down, you get pitch and roll. If I go down again, you get trailer mode, blind spot monitoring, which you have to set it up so it knows your trailer length, but it's really cool because it will extend the blind spot monitoring to your trailer. All right, and then you get these extra gauges. Now, I'm going to hit it once more. You can have it blank completely if you don't want anything. Go down again. You can see fuel economy. I go down again. You get the driving support, which shows your adaptive cruise and lane keeping assist. And I go down here and you have navigation. Of course, your turn by turns will show up there. And then I go down again. You get audio. And then I'm going to go down one more. And we're back to drive information here. Trip A. And remember, I showed you how you can change the actual information you see in Trip A and Trip B. Okay. And we'll go down one more, and then we're back to tire pressure. Now, if I go to the right one more, this is where you can decide exactly what windows you're going to see in that right gauge. Anything that's check marked, you're going to see. Anything that isn't check marked, you're not. So if I click this, I will now see the eco indicator in this gauge. Uncheck it, I don't. Let's say you don't want driving support. Okay, just click there, take it out. Okay, but that's how you're going to control what you actually can flip through in that right gauge. Now to go to the left gauge, I'm going to use the left arrow. I'm going to hit it again, and I'm going to hit it again. And now I've got the same, I can manipulate this information. So I'm going to go down. I've got auxiliary gauges. Okay. Go down again. Turbo gauge. Down again. Now I'm at the top, and it's just blank if you don't want anything. Eco indicator. So pretty much a lot of these were things that were not selected on the other side. Some are duplicated. Like, for instance, you got navigation again. You got audio again here. Okay, traction monitor wasn't on the other side. And then we're back to auxiliary gauges. Now, like the other side, if I press this left arrow one more time, anything that's check marked is showing up in the left gauge. Anything that's not check marked is not. So you want to add something to the left gauge, just take and click it. If you want to take something out, go to the check mark and click it, and it'll take it out. So you get to decide what shows up in each gauge, but it's a lot of information that you can manipulate on the driver's screen. And that is just so neat. I'm going to show you one more thing, and I am going to just go back here so we can get out of this. The drive modes. Now, in the center console, there's a rotary knob that says tow haul and drive mode. Drive mode is always selected unless you push tow haul, but the default is drive mode. And then what you do is you spin the silver dial that's on, goes around it. So the gauges change just a little bit in color, the background especially. So right now, I think we're normal. So I'm going to spin it. Yep. So now we're up to sport, and we're going to see that when this goes away, we have a little bit of red in the background. Okay, and then if I go back, this is normal. We were there already, so I'm going to go down to Eco, and it's going to be a little bit of green in the background. See, so it just changes slightly. All right, that is it for the driver's screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. Right now, the infotainment screen in the lower trims is an 8-inch screen. You do get a larger screen in the upper trims, but the software is the same. What you basically have, this is Toyota's new system, and they've simplified it. It works really great. Basically, you don't have a home button. You have these these five, excuse me, icons on the left that are always there. Top one is navigation. Second one is going to be your media. Third one is going to be your phone. Fifth one is trip information or any alerts the vehicle gives. And then the last one is settings, which has a ton of information into it. And we'll dive into that. Okay. You do have a power button right here. Okay. If you click and hold, it'll shut it off. And then you just click it again and it should power up. You have a rotary volume knob right here. On the steering wheel, on the right-hand side, you've got a mode button. Now, the mode button on when you're in media will change between the different sources. My point is, if you push and hold the mode button, it's muted. They call it pause, but it mutes the volume. So you do have a mute for the audio on the steering wheel. Okay, so I can't get into navigation because I have to connect it, but I can tell you, I've seen it on other Toyotas. It's very fluid. It's got traffic, and then you can, it works with cloud navigation. It does voice command, so you can just plot your routes really easily. So it's a really nice system, and works really well. Under media, okay, this is favorites right now. It seems to be the default screen. I can go to tune, and right now I'm on FM, but I could go to AM or Sirius XM. This also has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which we'll get to those in a little bit. Okay, but you can just tap in a number and click tune to station if you want for either that, AM or Sirius XM. Okay, if you want just FM radio, you're right here. This is all stations right here. So to tune, you can just go like this. Okay, and you just click on whatever you want. You can search by category, of course, if you want right here. That's what's in it. That's what's in the local area right here. Okay, once you have found something, let's say we do a little bit of country here. If you want to make it a favorite, you're going to click the little heart. Okay, now its favorite's been added. Okay, you can quickly undo if it was a mistake. So it added to the favorites. Not only that, but it brought us to the favorite list. So these are all the favorites. Okay, instead of being across your screen like we typically see them in cars, these are just up on the side. Here's the cool thing. I love that they do this because they make it so easy. Now, if I want to delete or change, like rearrange them, I just click the edit button. Okay, now I can take this one, click and hold, and drag it up and make it first. Or I can just say, I don't want that one, and I can delete that one. So you can rearrange your favorites, and you can delete them, which I just love that you just click done editing. So I absolutely love that. And then you just press the radio button to get out of the favorites. And by the way, it's the same for AM. And it's going to be the same for Sirius XM. Okay, so it's either you tune that way and click on something, or you tune here. All right, showed you favorites. Okay, so the question now is, how do I adjust sound? Okay, well, there isn't a button in this particular screen to adjust sound. So what you need to do is you need to go to settings, and then you just scroll down until you find sound and media. So I go here, and this is on levels right now. So this is the auto sound levelizer. So what that's going to do is, depending on the amount of noise in the cab, it's either going to raise your volume or lower it. So at lower city speeds, it's going to lower your volume. At higher speeds, it's going to raise it. But to your ear, it's going to sound like it's the same. Okay, but you can change how sensitive that is right there. Now, sound tuning You got treble, mid, bass, and then balance and fade right there. And these are all just click and drags. Okay? And you can say recenter them, right? Well, these ones you can't, but this one you can. Okay, so if I go like this, I can say recenter, and it puts it right back in there. Or you can use these arrows too if you want. So that's how you can adjust the sound in the media. Okay, and then down here you can say, do I want cover art? And that's the picture that pops up when a song is playing. Do you want that on or off? All right, so let's go back here. So that's how you tune. That's how you save and adjust favorites, and then that's how you adjust sound. So next, we're going to skip phone for a minute, and we're going to go right to vehicle. You get two things here. One is a vehicle alert, so if there's anything the vehicle's trying to alert you on, low tire pressure, low oil, whatever, that will show up in here. It'll also pop up in your driver's screen, and it's not going to make you go there, but that's, if you go, oh, there was an alert, let me go back and look at it, then you can see that. But it does give you some cool trip information and some graphics here. So you get current trip, okay? And then you get the history. And then you can either clear data or you could update it. Now, I apologize for the tag here, but there's a film across the screen, and there is nothing else down here, so I'm not going to remove it, but it's just the magnifying glass and then clear data. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to phone, and I'm going to connect my Android phone to Android Auto. And it will be the same basic process for Apple CarPlay, and then we'll dive into settings. So first thing I'm going to do is just click on here, and I'm going to click Connect a Device. All right, then I'm going to turn my phone on, and I'm going to go to Settings, and then on my Android, I'm going to click on Connections. On an Apple phone, you just want to click on Bluetooth. Now, once you get to connections on an Android, you still have to then go and click on Bluetooth. But in an iPhone, you're already in there, and you just scroll to the bottom of the Bluetooth list is what you want to do. On my Android, I'm clicking on Bluetooth right now because I want to see the devices. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom of the list, and it says Toyota 4Runner already. So what I'm going to do is click Search for Devices. And then I'm going to click on where it says Toyota 4Runner at the bottom of my Bluetooth list. And you do the same on Apple CarPlay. Now, it wants to know if this number is the same that shows up in my phone. It is, so I'm going to hit OK here. I'm going to hit Pair on my phone. If you click Not Yet, it's going to go ahead and it's going to connect to Bluetooth only. Now that I'm connected, okay, I can go ahead and just turn off my screen, and I can set it in this beautiful wireless charger that's just in front of the shifter. All right, now I don't have Wi-Fi or cell reception on my Android, so you're not going to see any information appearing here. But this is where your maps will appear, and you will see them. And this is where this is YouTube Music, and then you scroll over one here, and it's suggestions for you. Okay, at the bottom, these are your most recently used apps. It tells you the battery charge. You can see I have no signal whatsoever, and it tells you the time. Okay, now underneath here is the one spot where this kind of sticker kind of blocks. There's just a microphone, and it's for your Android Assistant. Okay, but you can set your Android or iPhone to wake up to a command like Hey Siri, and it will just wake up. So you can actually control your phone by voice as well. You just have to set your phone to wake up to that call. Now this dice right here will change us from this screen to a view of all of the apps. All right, and it'll be the same in Apple CarPlay. The big difference is Apple CarPlay, this information is up here on the side, and in Android Auto, it's down here. In Android Auto, you're going to scroll up or down to see all of the apps. And in Apple CarPlay, you're going to go left, right. All right, so basically, what does it do? Well, it's going to run your phone, it's going to run your text messages, it's going to run your navigation, and you can use any navigation. whatever is your preference, you know, for navigation app on your phone, you can use right here. And it'll give you this full screen. Now, again, I don't have a Wi-Fi or anything reception, so you're not going to see an actual map, but you can see the sides of it, right? So, I mean, that is just really, really, really cool. All right, now to get out of that full mode, you're just going to press that button again, and we can press here. It's a really neat thing, and because you're right on the screen, it's easier to see. It's, I think, a little safer than tapping things on your phone. So if you listen to anything with music or audio, like books or podcasts, that app will show up here. Okay, so what it won't do is like show you movies. So it's just really a neat system. Okay, all right. So let's get out of Android Auto, and to do that, you're just going to find the Toyota icon and press on it, and then we're back into that system here. Now, when I click on phone, you're going to see an actual thing where you can dial a number or look at contacts, favorites, you know, that kind of stuff. Check your voicemail. Okay, so that is all there, but it's all automatic. All you got to do is use the voice command button and say, you press and hold it. There. That is my phone. Okay, so it will actually then, you can tell it to call somebody. So you don't have to click here, do anything. That's why it's so nice. A lot of it's just voice command. All right, so that's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Let's hop back. Okay, and to do that, we're just going to go to the screen with all the apps, and we're going to click on Toyota since there is no home button here. All right, I want to jump down finally to settings. All right, profiles. So what that does is that saves things like all of your radio favorites. It should save like your sound settings, like how much bass or treble you have, all that kind of stuff, any safety systems you have on, and it just loads all that when it recognizes your key fob. Okay, so I'm not going to take the time to go through that, but you just hit get started. The instructions are very clear on the screen, and you can walk yourself through that. All right, personal info. This is a kind of a cool setting. So if you hit reset when you sell the car, wipes all that personal data out. All right, I can look at Bluetooth and devices. Okay, I can add another device. If I say manage devices, I click on this one, and I can say right now it's using for Android Auto. But let's say I connected an iPhone. I could just say, well, you know what? My passenger has an iPhone, and I just want them to use it for phone. Well, you can set that right there for their phone, right? All right. You can disconnect it. You can also forget your phone, which is also a great thing to do when you are selling the car. So we'll do this, and my phone should disappear. Yep, there it goes. Okay, now, under General, okay, for accessibility, you can have the screen beep. You've heard it beeping. You can turn that off if you don't like it. And the sensitivity. So the more if you turn up to 3, it's more sensitive if you have gloves on. So for winter driving, really nice. Of course, you can do date and time right here, but honestly, no matter where you are, if you just click the clock, it's going to take you right to that setting. All right. Language and units right here. You have a couple of choices for language. You can also have it set automatically by region, which is interesting. All right. Let's go back here. Notifications. You can turn these off or on. This does get over-the-air updates. It won't download while you're driving, but it won't install while you're driving, but it will download. Or you can say I'm only going to do it while I connect to Wi-Fi, and that's fine too. But you can turn software updates on or off. Vehicle will learn as you drive that you do certain things by certain locations. Like every time you go home, you stop at Baker Square and you get yourself a pie and a cup of coffee. Well, okay. If you do that often enough, the vehicle will start to suggest, would you like to go to, Baker Square? If you don't like that, you can say just off or only when I'm stopped. Virtual assistant, you can turn that off right there if you don't like it. Now, Wi-Fi, this is the hotspot, so you have to pay a monthly fee. You get it free for so long, but then you have to pay. So you can turn on the hotspot if you do that. But under Wi-Fi, you can actually hooked to your home Wi-Fi. You would just turn that on. It would search for your home Wi-Fi. You'd click on the name and type in the password, and then your vehicle connects to your home Wi-Fi. All right, let's go back here. Under display, okay? You can turn the screen on or off. I've already showed you that. But this is where you change the mode. Right now I have it in night mode because it's just easier to film. But you can change it to day, and then it does this. Whoosh. Okay? And you can also, what you typically would do is turn this to automatic, right? And then at night it's dimmer, at day it's brighter. It's just that for filming, I like how it comes out better. Looking like this. You can manually adjust the brightness right there just by sliding it. Under camera, you can change the brightness or the contrast. And then this is just a graph that kind of shows you. I wish they'd actually just put the camera picture in there, but that's what they have, and all cars do it that way too. All right. We've looked at a little bit at sound and media, but we looked at it specifically for media. So you can, when you have a phone connected, you can adjust the ringtone, new message, sound, receiving volume, the system. When the driving assist talks to you, how loud do you want that to be? You can. So the beeps change volume to help you kind of get an idea of what it's like, but that's adjustable there as well. Okay. We already showed you this. Okay, showed you that. Now, under radio, we do have HD FM and HD AM. And if you're not familiar with HD radio, basically what that does is it locks onto an HD station. And when it does that, you keep the signal for longer, and it has better sound quality. So you take two equivalent FM stations, you might run out of range in say 100 miles, but if it was the other HD one, you'd continue with that, being able to get that radio for quite a while. Okay, it's not like Sirius XM, but it does really extend the length of the radio station that you can reach it, or that you can hear it. And here you just have, do you want the info to display on FM? Yes or no. All right, you can clear radio station history. Now, under Sirius XM here, you can allow notifications. You can block explicit songs or programming. Start songs at the beginning when you turn to a music channel. So let's say you turn to a channel and the song is actually in the middle, it'll start it from the beginning. And then you can clear your listening history. You can see why they put that other data clearing button in, because there's a lot of things to individually clear. And that one button clears out most everything. I would double check to be sure, but, and then of course you have help and support right there if you need for the radio. All right, I'm gonna go back here. All right, voice and search. Okay, we can have a wake word, that, and then the voice prompt, it'll beep instead of giving a voice prompt when it's doing commands. So, hey Toyota, I'm cold.
Setting the temperature to 67 degrees.
Okay, so making just like common sense suggestions, it will do things. Okay, hey Toyota, tune to 95.6 FM.
Tuning to the closest frequency.
All right, so it couldn't find 96.5, so it did 95.7. But there's, just some, common everyday things that people reach for their radios and they're a little distracted that you can now do just by saying that word. You can also just press and release the voice command button and it will do the same thing. Okay, now let's go under vehicle customize. So under lights, auto on sensitivity. This has automatic headlamps. So it'll come on at a certain time. What I love about these new cars is that they now give you the ability to adjust how sensitive that is. I never, when it's dark, mine stay on, but they don't come on till it's almost completely dark. And I end up like switching on my lights manually and, before that. So you can say I want my auto lights to come on earlier during the day when it's brighter. Or nope, I want it to come out, I don't want them to turn on until it's pitch black. So you have the ability to adjust when those come on. I love that. All right, auto off timer, of course. You park somewhere, turn off the car, the lights will stay on for up to 90 seconds, or you can turn that feature off completely. Daytime running lights on or off. You do, and some states get insurance deductions for having daytime running lights, so I would check. But those are always nice to have on for oncoming drivers. Interior lights, okay, auto off. You can set them for to stay on up to 30 seconds or off completely. All right, door controls. Now, when you hop in the car, you start it and you take off. Do you want it to automatically lock when you shift from park and automatically unlock when you shift back to park? That's kind of a nice feature. That's how I have mine set, but you can say, well, I want it to do it by speed. And at that point, it'll be about 5 miles an hour, and then you'll hear it lock, okay? Or you can have that feature off altogether. So then under auto unlock, you can say when I shift to park, you can unlock, or when I open the driver's door, it'll unlock, or I want them off altogether. So nice features to have. Wireless keys, your key fob. You double press to unlock, yes or no, and if not, you turn that off and it's a single click. All right. And this one, lock when door opened. So it just allows it to, sometimes when doors are open, it won't allow the remote fob to actually lock until the door is closed. This just allows it to lock. So when it's open. All right. Smart door access. Do you want, when you hit the unlock button, do you want driver door only or all doors? Your choice there. Okay, and there's some more there. You can read through them. I don't have time to go through them all, but all right, climate. Now, the only thing you have under climate here is the AC mode with auto. So if you hit auto, the AC is automatically going to come on. If you turn that off, then the AC doesn't automatically come on. But the rest of the buttons that are down below, and they're all there. So you don't need anything in the screen. So for the climate control, it's really kind of cool how they've done it. First of all, I love the feel of the buttons, of the texture. You can definitely tell because you can reach them from the shifter really easily. Okay, but basically this is your front defrost, rear defrost, plus the mirror defrost. This is the mode where the fan's going to blow. Okay, and then you got recirculatory on or off, and then AC on or off. This is your temperature setting here. And then this, of course, is your fan speed, or you can push this to turn the system off, and then you just rotate the fan speed to turn it back on again. Under utility, gives you the ability to customize that adaptive cruise control. Okay, now let's go back here. You can input your dealer info if you want to have it automatically stored there, so you can automatically call them or whatever. Under info and security, that's going to be your vehicle name for a lot of different things, like I think the hotspot and that kind of stuff. Privacy lock, if you want to do that, then they have to type in a code. You have to type in a code, I believe, and then it locks it. And then you can't get that information unless you type in that code. All right, which will be a problem if someone sells this used and locks it but doesn't delete it. So maybe it's something to check if you're buying a used one. All right, software update. There's nothing available right now, but this would show up if it did. All right, now the last thing I want to show you is the backup camera here. So you have got dynamic swivel guidelines and you've got stationary guidelines. So I like having both those, right? And if I don't want those guidelines on, first of all, I can change them, and then they're all stationary. So I got rid of the dynamic ones. Then I get rid of them altogether, and I just have that red line. And folks, that red line is basically just, it's so close to your bumper. It's like, please don't back up any further than that line. It's there to help you, okay? Now, I can also add, a lineup for my hitch as I'm backing up. That is really nice because that curves as well. Now I can have, this is a nice picture here, and camera quality is very good. If I click here, I get a little broader view, but you kind of get that fisheye, but I can see it more off to my right and my left. But that's it. You know, upper trim levels will have the 360 camera system. This one just has the rear camera, but it is a very nice camera and a really good picture. Okay. Well, that is it for this beautifully redesigned 2025 Toyota 4Runner. And again, this is the TRD Sport trim level. We hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.